Hi guys, hi Hillside, I miss you all. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Chanel. Do not touch the mic like I just did. And I just I was asked to bring some weekly encouragement. And the first thing that popped into mind is just what I've kind of been meditating on in this season, and that is the end of Genesis, just reading Joseph's journey and story. And it's just, I've been in awe of who he was and what he carried and how faithful and obedient he was despite all the situations around him. And so I just want to encourage you today that our surroundings and our situations, whether we're in our family home of favor, because he was wearing that coat and he carried so much favor in that family, and with his father, whether you're in the pit, whether he's in Potiphar's house where he is found favor and is actually has all authority over that home, just like looking after it, to being back in the prison where he finds favor again, and then to being in the palace. And his circumstance and situation around him, he never let that steal his character, his identity, his obedience to the Lord. Like when Potiphar's wife came to him, he fled from temptation, like he ran. And we think when we're obedient, sometimes we run into like the promises of God straight away, but it looked like him running straight into prison and getting imprisoned for years. And I've just been aware that our situation and surroundings around us never get to dictate our character. We can allow them to, but we're not called to do that. Our promises in the Lord, our promises in his goodness following us wherever we go, even though it might not look like we think it should look around us. And so that's what I've been meditating on, is just we get to find favor in every season. And this season with lockdown, for some people has been really favorable. They've been able to find strategies, and financially it hasn't impacted them, and then other people it has. It's been a really hard season financially, family wise, different things. And it's just being aware that despite what season we're in, whether we're in the prison, whether we're in the palace, we still get to choose him and trust in his promises. Despite what the situation and circumstances around us look like, we are favored. We get to be faithful and obedient to who he's created us to be. And I think from that space of not allowing our surroundings, which we hear all the time, but just I encourage you to read the story of Joseph. Like, he has every reason to be discouraged, to just sit back and not be who he was created to be, to just become part of the world, to not remain obedient and faithful to the Lord. But he chooses obedience, and we see what comes from that he actually gets to step into the promises that God had given him, that dream and that promise years before, but he only saw it happen, and he only landed up in the palace at 30 years old. So it's just been this wild thing of, and I've been asking myself like these really hard questions. Do I choose him now in the hardships? Because if I can choose him now, I know in a season where I'm in the palace and it looks like 7 years of hardship, and people must have been angry, and he must have somehow had moments of doubt. Do I still stand on the God's promises that he said after 7 years of drought, like things will go back to normal? And when you're storing things up in those 7 years of abundance, like it's so easy to get caught up in that favor and think it will never end. So it's just I've been going through those things of just being aware that no matter what season I'm in, I'm going to choose him, and that he's going to sustain me through that, through the hardship, through the good times, that he will always be my source, and he'll always be my first choice, and it will always be worth it. But it won't always look like we expect it to look, but he's always good and faithful. So I hope that encourages you. You're all amazing, and I just encourage you to read the story of Joseph, and hopefully it will speak to you. Well, the word always speaks to us, but just, meditate on his choices and his journey, but also just how good and faithful God is to us. because he really is. So love you guys, miss you all, and really hoping to see you all soon. Love you guys. Bye.